Lately, I have been really feeling guided to speak on certain challenges that come along with being an empath, being a highly sensitive person in this lifetime on this planet and at this time. Empaths tend to struggle with many things in our society that may come easily to people who are less empathic, less energetically sensitive. But nowhere is this more evident than in their dealings in love and relationships. Now, this might come as a bit of a surprise because, as we know, empaths are highly sensitive people, meaning they are able to naturally sense the emotions, the feelings, and even the thoughts of other people, which of course makes them natural caregivers, natural lovers. It is very easy to be in a relationship with someone who is empathic because they tend to be very attentive to the needs of those around them. But therein also lies the greatest struggle for empaths in relationships and in love, which is they tend to be so hyper aware of the energy of those around them, the needs of those around them, especially those they care most about, like their romantic partners, that this can lead to immense struggles and challenges and even confusion for empaths within a romantic relationship. So I'm going to be diving more into this topic in this podcast video, but first, let me introduce myself to those of you who are new to my channel. If you are new here, then welcome. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Today, I want to share with you 4 top reasons that empaths struggle in romantic relationships and also give you some tools and resources you can use to cope with this as someone who may be highly empathic, highly sensitive, who is in the dating world or dealing with love and romance. Really, the struggles for empaths with relationships don't begin or end when it comes to romantic relationships. Even in their platonic relationships, many of these points will still apply. Anytime an empath is close to someone, meaning someone is part of their inner circle and therefore energetically even more tied in to them than others, such as strangers, this means the level of empathy, the level of energetic sensitivity an empath has to this person will be amplified exponentially, with the most amplified feeling of energetic attunement occurring within an empath's most closely held relationships, such as their closest platonic friends and, of course, their romantic partner if they have one. Now, what happens when you are so incredibly attuned to the energies of those who are closest to you? Well, while on the one hand, you are capable of sensing their needs, desires, pain, on the other hand, at times, these things that you sense from them can be incredibly overwhelming, and that is what we are going to discuss in this video. So the first reason that empaths struggle with relationships, but especially romantic relationships, is, as I spoke on earlier, because of their hyper awareness to the feelings, the needs, and even the pain emotionally and yes, even physically of those around them, which again, remember, all of this hyper awareness they naturally have with everyone, even strangers, is exponentially amplified within their romantic relationships. So what happens with this hyper awareness is empaths tend to naturally fall into a caregiver role with those who are closest with them, especially their romantic partners. So this means that when an empath is closely relating to someone, especially romantically, and bonded to them in this way, they are so aware of this other person's needs that they start naturally meeting those needs all the time, going out of their way to meet whatever needs they are sensing from this other person, from their partner, even at the expense of their own self-care or their own needs. And naturally, this can lead to a feeling of self-betrayal and even total self-abandonment, as the empath gives away so much of their time, their energy, and themselves to this other person. And oftentimes what happens is, even within a relatively healthy relationship, because the empath finds themselves giving so much of their time and their energy, really over self-sacrificing and even self-abandoning, it can cause them to resent their partner, again, even in a healthy relationship, because they can feel as though, especially if they are with someone who is less sensitive, less empathic, they can feel as though they are being taken advantage of. Even in situations where there is, again, a typically healthy way of relating with one another, the empath is just overgiving and self-betraying to the extent that they can start to, in a sense, feel disconnected from themselves, and then feel as though it is their partner's fault for not self-abandoning in return, not over self-sacrificing in return. So this is something that empaths need to be really cautious of, and something that is a great challenge as someone who is empathic. In fact, this very dynamic, this first point, often leads empaths to feel relationship burnout. This is a really strange thing as an empath, where you feel yourself so connected to someone that you are close to and giving that person so much that ultimately, over the course of over self-sacrificing and over self-betraying over the course of time, you find yourself feeling so burnt out by that dynamic that you then have to disconnect from that person or relationship for a period of time entirely, because again, it's like you were unable to escape this burnout that comes from feeling as though you are expending so much time, energy, effort, and attention to this other person. This can even lead some empaths in the dating world to feel as though they are unable or even shy away from forming very close, intimate connections within relationships, and yes, even platonically with friends, because they are aware on this subconscious level that they tend to fall into this dynamic of over-giving, of almost what looks like over-caring, but really it is just being overly hyper aware of this other person's needs and then naturally meeting them all the time at their own expense. And of course, when I'm speaking about these points here, there are always two sides to the coin. There is a negative and a positive, and every blessing that we have as empaths with this energetic sensitivity comes with an equal curse, so to speak. The light and the dark is equal in the gift or ability. So the second point of why empaths struggle in romantic relationships kind of goes along with the first point, and that is that empaths tend to attract people who are very opposite. I guess in this case, you could say opposites really can or do attract at times. It's a well-known phenomenon that empaths will often attract narcissistic personality types within the sphere of love and romance. Very often, when someone is radiating a signal out into the universe of, I am someone who gives, who sacrifices myself for others, even to the point of being overly self-sacrificial or self-abandoning, when the empath has not yet learned how to effectively set energetic boundaries, clear their energy, set boundaries with the people they care most about, and relate healthily within their romantic relationships, it is kind of like a puzzle piece with a broken edge, and the fitting piece, the piece that fits together, the partner that fits together with that broken edge of a boundaryless empath is a narcissistic personality type. this begins to form what we would refer to as a karmic relationship. Now, a karmic relationship is not limited, of course, to the empath narcissist dynamic, but this is one form of karmic relationship. And by karmic relationship, I mean a relationship in which our broken edges fit so well with someone else's broken edges that it creates this feeling of attraction, this feeling of pull that ties us together, just like those two broken puzzle pieces. Now, of course, the key to healing from these relationship dynamics for the empath is to heal that metaphoric broken edge, to begin to learn how to set firm energetic boundaries, to become an empowered empath rather than a victim with these overwhelming energetic gifts and abilities. And for this purpose, I have created a really, really powerful sound therapy tool for every single empath who is listening to this podcast. This tool has been one of the single most greatest life-changing tools for me personally. This is a 7-chakra clearing subliminal. Subliminals are designed by nature to reach into those deeper levels of our energy field very quickly and very effectively, because they contain affirmations that actually bypass the conscious filter of the mind and make deep, lasting impressions on the subconscious, which, as research has shown, it's actually the subconscious that directly is reflected in our energy field. So, of course, as empaths, it's incredibly important to have good energetic hygiene, meaning to clear our energy every single day. And this tool is designed to do just that. It contains affirmations targeted to every single chakra center in the energy body, in the aura, in order to uproot any negative frequencies or vibrations or thoughts stored in that particular chakra center, to clear it out and to raise it back to its highest vibrational state. I personally started meditating with this about a year ago, and since then, my entire life has entirely transformed because I've learned how to truly take control of my own energy to become an empowered empath rather than someone who falls victim to the whims of the energy that we are sent or connected to. So this subliminal comes from my website, soundandsoulful.com. As you can see on the screen, on this site, I have over 100 subliminals for all areas of life, for physical appearance changes, for mood shifts, for material manifestations, for love and relationships, and so much more. And you can access every single subliminal I've created, including this 7-chakra clearing, completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. And all of that information is linked in the pinned comment and description box under this video. So, reason number 3 that empaths tend to struggle with relationships, especially romantic relationships, is that empaths are natural mirrors, meaning that because they are so attuned to the feelings and the thoughts and the beliefs of others, many times empaths will absorb these thoughts, feelings, and yes, even belief systems of other people and reflect them. In this way, empaths can find themselves feeling a serious identity crisis, as it's very difficult for them to sort out themselves from the opinions, thoughts, beliefs, and personality of those who are closest to them. Often we see this first in childhood when empaths are raised by parents who have very dominant personality types and very strong beliefs and opinions. An empath child will often take on and mirror the belief system, ideas, and even persona of their parents naturally in order to survive, because they may feel almost a sense of energetic threatening from the fact that they are constantly in an environment around these very overwhelming and even at times intrusive energies of people around them who may not positively react to who they really are. So empaths, being incredibly intuitive, incredibly privy to the thoughts, feelings, and ideas of others may naturally find themselves mirroring these feelings and beliefs either as a self-protection mechanism, a survival mechanism, or to be accepted and loved by the people around them. Now, again, the key to flipping this dynamic is for the empath to find that sense of validation, security, trust within themselves to form a stable identity of self, and again, to hold those strong boundaries energetically against those who might try to project their own thoughts or beliefs on the empath. But when it comes to the dating world, the reason this is so difficult is pretty obvious. It's because when an empath goes about to try to form these intimate relationships, they are so good at being liked by these other people through naturally mirroring the other person's personality or ideas or beliefs or thoughts. And again, this isn't intentional. Oftentimes, the reason the empath is doing this is incredibly unconscious. It's to make the other person feel more comfortable, to avoid any kind of negative reaction that they could sense from the other person if they were to fully show their true, most authentic self. But again, this just makes it very challenging for an empath to feel very seen and understood for who they truly are within their romantic relationships. So although they might have partners or potential dating opportunities who will say that they really like them, that they want to see them again, that they get along with them, the empath themselves may feel as though they are being seen for something that they aren't. They may find themselves feeling that kind of cliche feeling of, I understand everyone around me, but I myself am so misunderstood or so completely not understood by everyone around me. And finally, the fourth reason, or one of four reasons, there are probably so many more ways that empaths could struggle in relationships, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments also. But this is actually in the initial stages of dating, and just kind of a final point I put on here in my notes as I was thinking about this is that empaths will sometimes become very confused in their feelings of attraction for other people. And what I mean by this is because empaths are so energetically sensitive, they are very capable of picking up on when someone is romantically interested in them, has a crush on them, is thinking about them in a romantic sense or an intimate sense. And they are very good at picking up on that kind of energy, especially when it is directed toward them. Now, the problem is, when the empath is either a bit unconscious of their ability to do this, especially early on in their dating life, they can actually find themselves succumbing to thinking that the person's energy that is being sent to them, the feeling of someone liking them, accepting them, being attracted to them, validating them, when they pick up that energy, there's the tendency to confuse it with their own energy, to almost feel as though I must be feeling physically or emotionally or romantically attracted to this person, when actually what they are doing is using their powerful gift of sensitivity unconsciously to pick up on the fact that that is what that other person is feeling for them. So I really hope this podcast was helpful to those of you who are empaths, who are highly sensitive and potentially in the dating world out there listening to this. Let me know in the comments what experiences you have as someone who is dating or having close relationships with friends or romantic partners as an empath. What do you find to be most challenging about these relationships? The 7 chakra clearing that I've created with empaths in mind is in the pinned comment and description box if you would like to learn more about how you can use this as a sound therapy and powerful energy clearing tool. Thank you so much for joining me here today in this podcast, for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast.